Pregame.tv, welcome back. Steve Fezzik breaking down all the major sports, and I'm going to rant about each and every one of them. For those of you who tune in over at Pregame, you know I do a daily Fezzik's Focus that I go ahead and tweet out at Fezzik Sports that discusses a lot of this, and a lot of times I'm bagging on things, and certain things just drive me crazy, and I hear this all the time. Well, Fezzik, what makes you think you're smarter than 8 trillion people that have watched soccer for 100 years or 1,000 years or 10,000 years or however long it's been? And my reaction is solved by inspection. It's obvious. So we're going to go and rock and roll here. You're probably not going to agree with all this. I bet you're going to agree with most of it here. Let's start with my #1 sport of expertise. I'm just going to have one rant. Football, NFL, and college football. 4th and 1 from the goal line. This one drives me crazy. It's such a no-brainer to go for it. I mean, in general, coaches kick too many field goals and they punt too often. But the #1 mistake, when you have 4th and goal from the 1, people keep thinking a field goal is worth 3 points. I don't understand it. If you stick the other team, all right, fine. I'll say the field goal is worth 3, and it's no guarantee that you make the field goal in college. It's very likely. So it's 7 points for a touchdown. It's 3 points for the field goal. So the math says if I can make it 3/7 of the time, which is about what I will make it, maybe half the time from 4th and 1, my expectation's the same. But the problem with that analysis is that when you kick the field goal and you get your 3 points, you basically hand the ball over to the other team on their own 27-yard line. But if you go for it on 4th and goal and you don't get it, you stick the team on their own 1, and that's worth, in terms of field position, that's worth about 1.4 points. So the field goal really, call it 1.5, round it. So the field goal really isn't worth 3 points. It's a net plus 1.5 points, and the touchdown's a net 5.5 points. It is such a slam dunk, and yet you see, oh, you got to put points on the board. Every announcer got to put points on the board, and it's so wrong. And the best evidence I can give you is imagine you would bet on the team that's on defense, and the other team has 4th and goal on your 1. You're like, please, God, kick the field goal. And don't go for it, because the best case scenario is somehow by some miracle you stop them, and now you're on your own 1-yard line, and you're punting the ball back soon enough, and they're at midfield going in to score again right after you blink. So that one just drives me nuts, and I think most people agree. And obviously, if you run all the numbers, it's a slam dunk to go for it there. Let me move on over Major League Baseball. Wow. This big shifts teams have been putting on batters, especially left-handed batters, and this is part of the reason batting average is down, production is down in the Major League Baseball. Let me use common sense here. If I was playing my producer, Cade, and we were both managing, and I put on a big shift, and he had his left-handed batter up, and he was down 2-0 to lead off the 7th inning, he would have his batter just go ahead and hit a ground ball down the 3rd baseline, get a single or a double, or even push a bunt and get on base. And basically, they would look at me as a manager. If I was the first guy to put the shift out, he's an idiot. What does he do? He's just giving first base to the other team. That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Yet, for some reason, in baseball, people say he's not paid to hit singles. Oh, so he's paid to hit 250 and ground out to the mobile right fielder that's playing rover out there in right field to throw him out. I mean, it's crazy. It's so obvious they're going to look back on us. If I was a left-handed hitter, every single time I would just poke the ball down the left field line, hit a ground ball, because I don't want to face that shift for the rest of my life. And all I have to do is do it 4 or 5 times and take care of it. All right, if you got the bases loaded, you're down 2 runs, go ahead and try for the extra base hit. But for the most part, that one is just, it's just insane to me. And I use the football analogy. Peyton Manning, it's 4th and 2, and the defense goes ahead, and they lock down on all his receivers, and they have 3 in the box. He runs a draw, 1st down. It's like if Peyton Manning can run a draw, you can hit a ground ball down the 3rd baseline. So that one just... Maybe it's just my teams that I bet on. When I watch it, and what I notice is that the rare occasion that a guy does it, it always works. He hits like 750 when he goes ahead and tries to get the hit. Soccer, oh boy. what can I say about soccer? These guys that are like, well, the rules are great. The game's been in place for thousands of years. It's got to be optimal. No, they never change any of the rules. It's not optimal. It's stupid. You don't know how much time's left in the game. You know what? If you can tell me within a tenth of a second how much time's left in a WNBA game, you can put the clock up there and show me exactly how many seconds are left in the game. Now, personally, I think there should be a soccer rule that you can grab the ball in the final minute or 30 seconds. That would be an automatic timeout if you had possession and then you grab the ball, and you could advance the ball NBA style and get a corner kick. I think that'd be exciting. I understand the purists wouldn't like that, but at least tell me how much time is left. Now, can you imagine the Super Bowl, New England is playing Green Bay, all of a sudden they just blow the whistle. Oh, the game's over. You didn't know that? Time's up. So that one just drives me nuts. The second thing in soccer, the penalty kicks. I understand if you tackle someone who's about to score, you got to give him something, a bunny that's easy, that he's going to make 75% of the time with his penalty kick. But when it comes to extra time, overtime, when you're in your shootout, can't we move that line back to where the goalie has a chance, that he doesn't have to just guess randomly and hope to be lucky? Put the line back maybe 5 more yards, and at that point, somewhere where about half of the kicks are made would be, I think it would make so much more sense. And why wouldn't they do that? Why would you take a sport you can't score at all the entire game, and then basically it's like basketball, it would be like putting the free throw line 6 feet from the basket where you have to screw up to not score. It just is so inconsistent. It drives me nuts. Let me get to basketball. End game of quarters. College basketball players don't understand 2-for-1. They blow it all the time. Even WNBA players blow it all the time. NBA is very good with the 2-for-1. The Spurs are the best at it. They get a rebound with 35 seconds left. You can count on the fact if Tim Duncan has the ball, bad example. If anyone but Tim Duncan has the ball with 32 seconds left and he's 26 feet from the basket, that 3 ball is up in the air within a second. They will get their 2-for-1. So why everyone just doesn't copy off Popovich? And the same thing like with New England. They always make the right decisions in football. Just copy off the smartest coach. Do what he does. That's obvious, even though teams don't do it. And take a bad shot with 32 seconds versus trying for a good shot and have the possessions break 1-1. This whole foul to give stuff drives me nuts, though. I can't tell you how many times the shot clock's off and a team has a foul to give, and the coach yells, "We've got a foul to give," and he fouls with 8 seconds left. Like what? You expect the other team to shoot with 8 seconds left? You know they're going to shoot with 4 seconds left. You don't have to use that foul until there's 5 seconds left. Wait. Patience. Another thing, when the coach screams foul and there's 20 seconds left in the game, and then they go ahead and they foul a 90% free throw shooter. It's crazy. There should be every coach should have a play where he yells, zebra, and zebra should mean foul someone who's not a good free throw shooter. You've got a little time, and I just don't see any of the coaches doing that. They either say foul or don't foul. Another thing with the foul to give that drives me nuts is sometimes you have the situation where there's like 29 seconds left and a team has a foul to give, and they wait, and then they use their foul to give basically so they don't get their 1-for-1 where each team gets a possession. They give the other team the final shot, which just absolutely drives me crazy as well. But you watch sports enough, you will see the most bizarre things. I got to tell you, one WNBA, I watch every WNBA game. I've been red hot throughout June, and part of it is I watched every game. The basketball IQ is so low of some players, I couldn't believe this. End of a quarter, I saw a gal dribble the ball off her foot, rolls 40 feet. It's going to be an over and back violation. The quarter is ending. She runs down. She's all alone. No one's within 10 yards of her. There's 2.6 seconds left. She picks up the ball instead of just letting the clock run out. Over and back. Other team gets the ball. 3 ball, boom. 3 free points for the other team. I mean, the things that you see out there show, and obviously in football, like the most extreme example is end of a half, team running out the clock, and the guy runs out of bounds and costs them the game. And you see that all the time. Or a defensive player, end of the game, the other team's screwed, they're out of time, and he just levels the quarterback 2 yards out of bounds. Personal foul, 15 yards, puts them in field goal range. Routinely, no one could be that stupid. These have to be paid actors that really aren't part of the team, just for entertainment purposes for the bettors. No one could ever make a decision that bad, have that low of a sports IQ. I mean, if I did that in an intramural game, they would bench me. They'd never let me play again. Yet you see it over and over and over again. So, I think that's pretty much it. So, I did want to go ahead and rant about hockey. But basically, hockey is just soccer, played on ice, and it's a lot faster. So, same sport, and I really don't like soccer very much. But I will say this. The World Cup, I'll give them credit. I'm not going to all be ranting. I'm going to say one happy thing. I love the scheduling. Every day, 9 a.m.'s one game, then comes the next game at 12 o'clock, and then during the knockout round, 1 o'clock they play. They have got this scheduling down pat. We have nonstop action throughout the day. I think that is brilliant compared to other sports where you have nothing throughout the day and then you have all the games at night. I really, really like what soccer has done with their scheduling. So see, I can like some things. Thanks for bearing with me. I got my rants out of the way. I will be raving about things when you come back and see me next time here, pregame.tv.